God bless you guys. This is Sean here from Faith Brings Change. I just want to come on here and share a little revelation with you. Somebody asked me to talk about porn and the effects of what it does. I'm going to discuss it briefly, but I do want to say a word that the Lord gave me. He told me a word of prophecy. And let me see if I can think how it goes. Their silver is Sodom, and their gold is Gomorrah, which goeth into Egypt, and afterward is not mentioned. For it is consumed as a flood, whose waters the second time shall be a flame. And so that's what he said to me. And that's one of the words I'm getting for prophecy. Try to rebuke these sins, because the sins they were doing of Sodom, and that Greek word for porneia, when they talked about those sins in the Bible, that's where we get porn from, and those are those sins. And their silver is supposed to be for redemption. Their redemption basically isn't those evil acts of sin. And pornography, there are a lot of people doing those sins of Sodom digitally, watching people do that, and nasty stuff. And those are deep sins. I got myself out of that particular sin, but those are deep sins, those digital ones. You have to be really careful with it. They say porn actually rewires the brain. It messes it up, and it messes up. It inflames the heart, and it just makes the heart, it makes it unhealthy, guys. It does bad effects on your body. I don't know what the chemistry is. I just know when I was in those sins, my heart did not feel good. I know demons, while you're doing those works, demons you can't see or surgically, even I knew those before, they would go into your body and they would do certain things. People's joints would be hurting after a while. They said in the spirit realm, they'd be pouring acid on your soul and doing different stuff, tormenting your soul while you're in those sins, and your soul would suffer while you're in hell, while your body was on earth, and they saw some people who were alive in hell already, and they wondered about it. What's their soul suffering in hell? That's what it was for. God was showing them. And messing up your heart, sowing things. They're also putting up cameras in your house. They're defiling things. They're putting things in your food. That's why when you come out of sin, on the day you're going to come out, which I recommend today because your next day isn't guaranteed, when they do that, you have to make sure you don't bring back something with you. And that's why I talked about the 12 tribes of Israel being shot back into they're shrunk down, because in occultism, they actually shrink a person down, representing their authority becoming smaller. They're shrink their soul down, represent them to put them in a bottle so they're easier to control. Different things they will do. And so I saw in this vision, it was like they were doing it in occultism. It's like they shrank the 3 tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel each down, and for each finger, 3 went in the shape of a nail head, like a triangle shape, and it was for 3 of them, and they each had 12,000 people in them. They were sending the 12,000, the seed of the 144,000 back, because the seed of 144,000 weren't always pure before God. They, just like sinners like all of us, even me, they weren't always pure before God, and he sent them back to their sins so they could bring back stuff. And it represents people when they come back to the Lord. They got to make sure they close those doors. They got to cast out all those demons they let through the pornography. You have to literally say, I cast out the demon of, because every porn star that basically you bring back, people looking at that, whatever demons they had can get in you. So you got to literally go down the list and mention all 17 works of the book of Galatians. I cast out the demon of lascivia. I cast out the demon of, let's say, adultery and fornication and uncleanness and lasciviousness and idolatry and witchcraft and hatred and variance and after variance, I had a vision, and that's why I remember all these, and variance and emulation and wrath and strife and sedition and heresy, and comes after heresy. I'm trying to think, because I do remember all these. Heresy and envy and murder and drunkenness and That next one, revelry, I'm trying to pronounce it. It just basically means like all the sins of the loose sins of the flesh, and people get a spirit of drunkenness. They get a spirit of stumbling. They err in judgment. They can't understand. Your mind becomes confused when you go into pornography. You can't understand. Demons will rewire, mess up your mind, and that's truth, and get demons and things in you. So you have to cast out all the spirits. Say I cast out the demon of whoredoms and fornication and blasphemy, evil eye, mind control. You have to cast out all those. You have to ask God to clean your house. You have to ask him to erase your name from the books. Ask him to erase anything they wrote about you bad, write you back in the book of life, because your name is blotted out of the book of life. Yeshua literally told me that, and his word says that whoever sins, he will be blotted out of his book of life. If he repents, he'll be written back in. And so, the names that aren't found written in the book of life on that day were the ones that departed from him. Some of the people departed from him. And when they depart from him, they're going out of the book. Their name is erased. They're coming back into him. They're entering back into the book. It's written back in. You got to make sure, though, you don't take spirits with you, because if you do, you don't cast them out, they'll weaken you to go backward again. And keep your mind on the Lord, and they will rewire your mind. You got to ask God also that his angels smash anything they installed in your house, clean all your food because when you sin, you let the demon have legal access to your entire life. So he's going to go around, he's going to put crap in your food, he's going to do everything. It's sowing things what you can eat that'll defy you even more or cause you to go back into sin, all that stuff. You have to ask God to remove all that, cleanse all that. Smash any cameras he put in there. I mean, you got to do a good repentance, guys, and don't go back to that thing. But those sins will really mess you up. Pornography, it rewires your brain. The more you sin, as some person said, the more it'll feed a demon and give him power. And so you got to starve your flesh from it. In about 3 months, you'll be free of it. That's what you got to do, and you'll be free of that. But sorry, it's kind of dusty in here. I got to dust later, but I'm gonna let you go, guys. Pornography is serious. If you're in that, you need to seek serious deliverance. Like I said, I recommend you learn the 31 Psalms to get yourself out of sin, and it'll clean you, guys. 31 Psalms. If you remember those and pray them every day, you'll distract yourself for about 90 days with those prayers. They will deliver you, guys. Your brain will be rewired in about 90 days, and you won't be strung on that. You would have starved your body of the need for lust. You have to starve it for 90 days. That's what God showed me. You have to starve it for 90 days, and the only way you can starve it is if you're busy with holy things, and the only way is you have to have a pat strategy. So I recommend 31 Psalms, guys. Because otherwise you're going to get lazy. Your spiritual muscles will get lazy. You'll relax, and on the day you relax, you'll get tempted by that thing and go back to it. So you need to armor up, guys, with those 31 Psalms. Remember them. That's a prophetic number also. Holiness and some other things you can look up later. But anyways, guys, I love you. I'm going to let you go. Till next time. And also, don't celebrate Halloween, guys. Halloween, Samhain, they'd kill people on Samhain. They'd put out jack-o'-lanterns to show that they were going to sacrifice their babies on Halloween. That's why they put out jack-o'-lanterns. It was a potato originally, and they light it, and it would show that in a few hours they're going to set their babies out to be sacrificed. They put on masks because they were literally afraid that demons were going to come. You're given candy. They would eat food and everything. That's meal for the devil, It's one thing to eat a candy bar just to eat it, but just to, that chocolate, related to, I'm talking about Halloween candy. Don't be buying it for your children or anything. Don't be taking your children out to trick or treat. You will be worshiping the devil. This is the devil's holiday. I don't see how any parent cannot be okay with that whatsoever. Samhain, they murdered people on this day. Don't do it, guys. It's idolatry, it's sin. But I love you guys. I'm praying for you. Till next time, shalom.